What's up, my friends? Kris Krohn here, and today we're going to be talking about how to make $5,000 in 30 days. If you're a subscriber to this channel, you know that it's all about wealth, empowerment, and finance, and specifically real estate. I launch millionaires everywhere that I go. I've been doing this for years now after I won my financial independence. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you not how to make 5-year down the road money, not decade-long money. I want to share with you how to make $5,000 in the next 30 days. Have you ever been financially behind the 8 ball, like strapped? Have you ever run out of money before you actually ran out of month? You know, when I got started in life, I think probably like most people, I was stressed because my financial life started before I graduated college and went on to leverage a degree to create some kind of income for myself. I just had this feeling that it wasn't going to work out. I had this feeling that it would lead to mediocrity. And so it was burning in me to find a solution. And in the beginning, making $1 million would have been great, but who cares about $1 million when honestly $1,000 changes lives? For me, $5,000 was a lot of money. $5,000 meant not having to have a job, go work for someone else. $5,000 was a symbol of freedom. So that's what I want to talk about, and it's something that it doesn't have to take a lot of time. Now, what I'm going to do with you today is I'm going to share in this game of real estate. You need to understand that what I'm about to share, real estate doesn't care how old or young you are. It doesn't care whether you have money or not, or whether you have credit or not. It doesn't care if you're smart. Frankly, real estate is for stupid people. Real estate is for people that understand real simple, basic concepts, right? People of the earth. So I want you to understand that what I'm about to share, this is not rocket science. This is something that everyday people actually can go out there and do. What I want to do is, of all the real estate strategies that I personally leverage, I buy multifamily homes. I buy hundreds of single family homes every year. I have a very automated system that goes out and does most of the work for me, which I can click the link at the end of the video and I'll actually show you how to do that. What I want to do is I want to give you the most rudimentary basic system for $5,000 in 30 days. I call it a lease option. Now, a lease option is a fancy rental. Instead of just buying a basic entry-level home and renting it out, a lease option is where I drop my cap and freaking marker myself up. A lease option is essentially where you get a home, and instead of just renting it out, you say, I'm not looking for a renter, I'm looking for a special renter. I'm looking for a renter that doesn't just want to rent and borrow the house for a period of time, but a renter that wants to eventually buy the house. And that's called a rent-to-own or a lease option, or a lease with an option to purchase. Now, here's what it basically means to you. If I show you in a moment how to find one of these deals, because I'm going to do that, then when you actually find it, you're going to get paid, on average, $5,000. And this is something you can do totally within 30 days. So I'm going to put this 30-day time frame. And while I'm totally going to show you how to do that, which is the whole purpose of this video, you do need to understand two other things. The first one is that once you have this home, that $5,000 you get up front, that's not the only money you're going to get. The person that's now saying in 2 or 3 years, I'm going to buy this home, they're going to be paying the entire mortgage and on average $500 more. So that means that every month there's $500 left over. Shucks, what are you going to do with that? I don't know. Get yourself out of debt or go put it towards your next property, right? Go live off of it. So there's $500 that it's going to do, and then you need to understand, if you follow what I'm sharing with you, when you do actually go to sell this property, it's not like you're just going to break even. Generally, there's tens of thousands of dollars that I make when I sell a property. $50,000, $80,000, sometimes over $100,000. So the $5,000 is really just the start of making the money, and it's important because it's the now money. The $500 a month, this is your monthly money, and the tens of thousands of dollars right here that you get when you sell the property, this is your tomorrow money. And so when I do real estate, I really like the idea of having something now, something along the way, and something at the end. Okay, so that's the premise. The question is, how do you do it? I actually want to show you how to make $5,000 in 30 days. This is actually quite cool. For this to work, you need to understand something. There are people out there that want to have a home for themselves. In fact, 2/3 of Americans, at least in this country, they own their home, but 1/3 of people are actually renting. Of the 1/3 of people that are renting, they actually would like to buy a home, but the 2/3 that own Some of them don't want to own and they want to go back to renting, or they have houses that they inherited, or maybe they got it the wrong way. And what it ends up producing is what's called, just like a lease option is all about finding a motivated buyer, you also have what's called motivated sellers. A motivated seller is a person that has a reason for being a don't wanter. I don't want this house. I'll give you an example of one. I was just on the phone with a guy who told me about this deal, and what had happened was a father had passed this home on to his daughter, and the daughter was renting the home and she fell in love with the people that she was renting it out to. She didn't like to raise the rents on them, and it got to a point where they needed to move out and she was stuck with this property and she didn't know what to do, and she just wanted to sell it. So she wanted to sell it for, she just wanted to sell it quick, so she sold it for a discount. That's an example of what we call a motivated seller. Motivated seller, there's a certain percentage of the population out there that are basically saying, I have a property and at one point I wanted it, but I don't want it anymore. And there's a number of reasons why people don't want homes. It could be a divorce. It could be, that people lost a job. It could be that they got rich and they're actually selling and moving on. And for whatever reason, sometimes people will just sell a home for 10 or 20% less. When you give a 20% discount on a home, it's like finding an entry-level home with $50,000 maybe, $30,000 or $80,000 of equity. I call that treasure hunting. And what I'm trying to tell you right now is I need you to go out there as a pirate and go find me some pirate booty. I want you to be a treasure hunter, right? A motivated seller means find the people that are selling and just want to dump the property. I'm going to share with you a favorite strategy that I actually have on this that will lead to that $5,000 in 30 days. I have 11 core strategies of how I find these deals, and when people like working with me and say, Kris, would you be my mentor? The answer is probably no to the average person, but it's a yes to an action taker. I only like working with people that are ready to make something happen in their life right now. And that's not everybody. You might need to watch 10 more videos or 100 more videos, or you might never watch another video again. But if you watch this and you like this and you're a subscriber, a time may come when you say, you know what? I'm ready to have my life changed. I'm ready to go to that financial next level. And when that happens, you click the link, even right now in the description below, and I'll share with you how you get on my team. Because literally every day I take time out of my schedule to mentor my students in my club. And this club, we go out there and freaking crush it doing real estate deals. Well, this is one of the things that I teach in my club. One of the ways that I find motivated sellers is I actually go and look for what's called a motivated landlord. This is a owner of a home that has been renting it. They're the landlord, meaning they're in charge of finding tenants and taking care of it and doing the maintenance. And at some point, some landlords will get sick and tired and say, freaking pulling my hair, I don't want to do this anymore. That's who we're looking for. So here's what you would do. Step one is you would call through for rent ads. Now, by the way, some of you are going to watch this video and go on to make $1 million. And I might never see or hear from you again, but I've seen it happen before. So I'm like getting so freaking jazzed right now. You're just going to call up the for rents and you're going to ask them a simple question. You're going to look for the people that are renting the property for less than they should. It's super simple. If you take a half hour and acclimate yourself to your area and just find out what a 3-bedroom, 2-bath rents for, what a 4-bedroom, 1-bathroom rents for, you're going to start figuring out a pattern. And you'll be like, oh, in my area, these type of homes rent for $800 a month or $1,200 a month. And then you'll start noticing once in a while that some are renting for less. If you call them up, and by the way, the only reason why someone rents for less is because they're a motivated seller. It means that they are not being a professional, they're not in the game for the right reason, they don't want to be in the game. Maybe there's something wrong with the house, maybe there's something wrong with them, maybe there's something wrong in their life. You're going to call them up and say, hi, I'm interested in renting your house, but I would like to rent it for 5 years and buy it. Now that's weird. Most landlords will say, well, that's weird. That's not what I'm doing. I'm finding a tenant and you're going to live here for 12 or 24 months and then you're going to move out and I'm going to find another tenant. But a motivated seller, do you know what they're going to say when you say, can I rent for 5 years and buy it? Oh, by the way, I'll do all the maintenance. You don't have to pay for any of that. That's music to their ears. And they're going to say, yes, that is exactly what I want. If you can then just confirm step 3, that you do in fact have low rents and you can lock in a low purchase price for when to buy it in the next 5 years, you have just, if you use my specialty contracts, you'll have landed yourself the deal of the decade. They come along once a day. And what can you do with this home? Well, this is where you then put a for rent to own sign in the yard and you're going to get people calling saying, I can't qualify with the bank, but would you help me in 2 or 3 years buy this house? I'll give you $5,000 if you do that. If you hear what just happened, I just showed you one of my favorite, one of 11 strategies that I teach in my club for how you go out there and you find these for rent, you call the landlords that are trying to rent their property. You find those that are responsive to, you can totally do all the maintenance and management, rent it for 5 years and then buy it from me. And if you confirm they got low rents and a low price, then I'll give you the paperwork where you can tie that up. You can take control of that property, because that's what this is about. It's not ownership, it's control. And then you can put a different family in there. And instead of a renter, don't become that next don't want our landlord. Put a family in there that will give you $5,000. They'll pay you $500. That's what I collect on average every single month. They pay the whole mortgage and then $500 left over, which comes to you. And then when they go to buy the house, there's a really big payday, tens and tens of thousands of dollars if you do it the right way. So friends, this is one of the strategies that I use for producing $5,000 in 30 days. And I can tell you, I have done it so many times now, and I've done it with thousands of people, and it might be your turn. If you feel like it is, I want to invite you to actually click the link in the description below, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you more information on how do you access my contracts, how do you have me as your mentor, how do you work with my expert team, and how do we empower you to do this so in the next 30 days you can literally put $5,000 in your pocket and say, hey, I did it. I won the game. That might be you. Hey, thank you for watching today's video. I hope that was helpful. With the little bit of time we've had, we're talking about how to make $5,000 in 30 days. It is very real. In fact, if you click the link, you'll get to see some of the videos and see what other people in our community are saying. They started out as subscribers just like you. You're a subscriber, right? Watching the videos, learning and growing and saying, you know what? It's time I actually stop learning about this, and it's time I actually take action on this and I start making money. If that connects with you, and if you're ready to take your life to a whole nother level, click the link in the description below. Connect with me and my team. Let us show you how you can make that happen in the next 30 days. Look forward to seeing you there.